Good evening. This is the irregular meeting of the ABR, since it's on a Thursday. It's our first meeting of the new year, so Happy New Year, everybody out there in TV land and in the audience and at this board. So, so first order of business is the order of roll call.
Sure. Member Cottrell.
Present.
Member Dahlman.
Here.
Member Deegan.
Here.
Member Kerouac.
Here.
Member Stradiff.
Here.
And Member Wicks is absent, and Chair Hunter.
Here,
Okay, we have a quorum.
and then some.
Yeah.
Okay, the minutes of the December 3rd meeting. Any thoughts, comments, reactions, notions?
I move approval.
Okay. Second on that?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Hey, aye.
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 Aye. Did everybody say aye?
Aye. Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
All right. Okay. Next on the agenda is any non-agenda items of anybody that's online or in the audience and has something not on the agenda. Do we have anybody online, Mike?
We do have some people online on the Zoom, so if you want to speak, just hit the button that says raise hand to speak, if anybody wants to speak for non-agenda items. No one is raising their hand.
Okay. All right, then, first up then is the consideration of sign permit for 105 Albrecht Drive. And
Come on up.
Good evening, I'm Paul Rzuski with Elevate Sign Group. We did the original signs for this facility, and Extra Space purchased this company a couple years back, and now they're rebranding everything to Extra Space. So it's basically a like-for-like swap, with the exception that the Extra Space wall sign's a little longer, so we're actually lowering it, so now we're not over the 20-foot threshold in height.
I didn't notice that.
And I just came from a customer's grand opening, so I have my sweatshirt on. Normally I don't wear sweatshirts to the meetings.
Okay, Art, we want to start down at your end? You have any thoughts?
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. It's, as you said, one for one. There's the large sign out on the, adjacent to the right-of-way to US 41. It doesn't seem to be included.
That's the last one. The one that you see from 41, that's sign C.
Right. And I'm not seeing that in.
I can,
The vertical one is on the back of one of the pages in my packet.
Yeah.
front to
Yeah.
back.
Okay, I see it now. Excuse me.
No
Okay.
worries.
Yeah. I have no, nothing further to say about it.
I'm comfortable with it.
Same. It's fine by me.
Matt?
No issues. Thank you for a good presentation.
Matt?
No, I have no, I mean, the only thing I was noticing is that the life storage fit in perfectly on the building in that little space.
It's a different logo, so
Yeah.
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 That's why I snugged it up there originally,
Yeah,
but it just doesn't fit at that size. So the only good thing is it lowers,
yeah,
but,
okay. Yeah, no, other than that, I think it looks good.
all right, thank you.
No, I have no issues either. So, how about that?
All right.
So let's have a motion.
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
Second?
Second.
I think Scott already seconded.
Scott got it.
It's a race.
Scott,
Who's on it?
Scott was faster.
Okay, roll call vote.
Okay. Member Cottrell.
Aye.
Member Dahlman.
Aye.
Member Deegan.
Aye.
Member Kerouac.
Aye.
Member Stradiff.
Aye.
And Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, motion
Okay, you're
passes.
good to go.
Very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Lightning speed, not even 10 after. The Lake Bluff Yacht Club is consideration of a fire sprinkler exemption for the Lake Bluff Yacht Club.
So we
I'm gonna recuse myself from this, just.
Yeah.
okay. So we do have our consultant Seth Summer on also, if you want
Okay.
him to summarize his report and all that. We could do that after we
Yeah,
hear the yacht
after,
club's
yeah.
presentation. Okay.
Great, thank you. Hi, I'm Matt Glover. I'm the Vice Commodore of the Yacht Club, stepping in for Gretchen tonight. She's out of town. You guys are the experts in this situation. I'm here just to present stuff, so you tell me how you'd like me to present it. Like bullet points, do you want me to go over the whole report, answer questions? I don't want, I want to be respectful of your time, I guess.
Well, I think everything is, this is your report.
That's me kind of boiling the consultant's report down to the basics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I assume everybody has read it, but does anybody have any questions about it? It's,
The only question I'd have is, has the fire department expressed any view on this?
Yeah, I asked our new fire chief, and he said he doesn't have any particular concerns with this application.
We have a new
okay.
fire chief?
Huh?
We have a new fire chief?
Yeah, we do. It's, yeah.
Where was I? Sorry, I digress.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hear from our expert online. And
Yeah.
that's all you need to do.
Sorry, what? You want me to?
Yeah, that's all you need to do, because we've got the report, you don't need to go through it.
Okay.
And so
Great.
you can just see what
Perfect.
happens here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Seth, so if you could go ahead and just summarize your report, and that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Everybody can hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, so yeah, just to summarize the report, you know, at first glance, this is a pretty easy one to look at. It's basically a garage, just a small garage that's going to be on a commercial property. It is near the lakefront. It's being proposed to be built because the yacht club had to relocate due to some work by I think it was the sanitary district, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, so as everybody's aware, the Lake Bluff ordinance requires all new buildings to be sprinklered and allows for an exemption process to see if it's you know, able to be exempted out from that requirement. And you know, the code requirements without Lake Bluff's amendments would not require a sprinkler system in this building. It's very small. It has very few hazards. As you saw in the report, there's going to be boats, inflatable raft boats with small fuel tanks stored in the building during the, let's call it the summer months. And then it's going, from what I understand, it's
Whoops. I think we suddenly lost you somehow. I'm not sure what happened there. Seth, somehow we lost your audio. I'm not sure if you did something at your end or if our person in the back room was made an adjustment trying to get the
Recording in
display
progress.
going.
Expense to put in a sprinkler system would be probably, you know, 10 times the cost of the building, to be honest. So not that the cost has to figure into it, but that's just one of the many reasons to, you know, allow for the exemption on there. So that being said, if an exemption is allowed, the Lake Bluff requirement for an alarm system would still apply, and we think that should be upheld. That way, if something does happen in the building, you know, the officials are notified of something happening there. And other than that was to just talk to the fire department, which Mike has indicated that he's spoken with them and they seem to approve the application. So I know I went through it pretty quickly, but I think it feels like everybody's kind of on the same page on this. But if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay. Anybody have any questions from Seth?
I do not.
Nope.
Neil? No. No, Art? Okay. I just have one, the communications, what would that be? Between the fire department and the building?
Oh, well, the fire alarm system would have detection in it so that if there were a fire in there that created smoke and fire, it would trip the alarm and basically send a signal to a monitoring station. And then the monitoring station would contact the fire department to let them know they've received a signal from this building. And then the fire department would respond to it. I can't remember what the village's response time was. We had done one of these last year as well. I just don't remember the response time. I want to say between 8 to 10 minutes.
Pretty
if I'm not
quick.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
they're
quick.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Seth.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions? Matt, any questions from you? Okay, then here we go. It's motion to exempt the Lake Bluff Yacht Club.
I move to approve the proposed exemption as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Okay. Member Cottrell,
Aye.
Member Dahlman,
Aye.
Member Deegan,
Aye.
Member Kerouac,
Aye.
and Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. The exemption is
You
approved.
guys are good to go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Seth, for all your help with that and for your great
No
report.
problem. Mike, and thank you to the board for allowing me to provide these services for you. And maybe we'll meet you on the next one, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
yep,
great. Thank you.
All right, take care. Have a good night, everybody.
yep, take care.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Next is consideration of ordinance amending the village regulations relating to contractors' license, lawn sprinkler regulations, and building code. Your show.
Okay, yeah, so for this, I think we have 7 code changes here. 4 of them are required by the state of Illinois to meet water conservation requirements. Those are changing our lawn sprinkler restrictions to prohibit use on consecutive days, which most people don't anyway. Most people comply with that anyway. Require public lavatories to use self-closing faucets. Require car washes to be equipped with a water recycling system. We don't have any car washes, but the state still requires us to have that ordinance on file in case anyone wants to build a car wash in Lake Bluff, it'll apply. And requiring closed system air conditioners, which again, I don't think we have any currently in town, so prohibiting them hopefully won't affect anyone. Those are like evaporative coolers, like cooling towers or swamp coolers. And then we also have noticed, since we last did code changes, we've noticed 3 areas that staff would like to address. One is that, our code doesn't have many requirements for the contractor's license. It just says it should exist and what the fee is, and we want to say a little more about what the requirements are for it to codify our current practice about requiring proof of insurance and having a method of having some kind of process to consider revoking somebody's license if we have
This
issues.
is any
and-
contractor.
Yeah, any contractor, right, yep. And then finally, on the code, we state that most of our permits are based on the cost of construction, but we don't state in the code anything about what acceptable methods of calculating the construction cost are, so we want to address that using standards similar to several other towns, Schaumburg, Arlington Heights, Lincolnwood. And then finally, considering that, there's a lot of electric vehicles these days, and having an electric vehicle fire in a indoor parking garage is a concern because it's very difficult to impossible to extinguish the electric vehicle fire. So what you really want to do is to be able to drag the vehicle out of the garage, which, you know, suggests we may want to regulate where in the garage electric vehicles are parked and not have them in the most remote or most difficult to access spaces. And also, there's a lot of new and changing technology regarding detecting electrical vehicle fires. There's some new smoke detectors that are specific to lithium-ion battery fires that can prevent, you know, false positives from car exhaust and all that. So we want the ability to consider when parking garages come in for permits, consider possibly requiring those where appropriate. So that's it. What questions do y'all have?
Are you talking about public or private garages for the electric vehicles?
Both, not single-family residential.
Okay, just
but
non,
large.
I
Yeah.
tell you what though, Mike, there was a fire maybe 3 months ago now,
Yeah,
and it was started with an electric car, if I remember right.
I think it was a regular car. I don't think it was electric.
And there was 4 bedrooms above the garage,
Right, yeah, right.
and they are demolished. Actually, the house probably, half of it was gone. I thought that was an electric car.
I heard it was a regular car from the fire department.
Oh,
Just a
okay,
regular
'cause-
vehicle.
My son-in-law was at that fire, you know, so
Oh, yeah,
he was
okay.
there for like 14 hours or something. It was-
Yeah, wow.
That was a big guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah. The advantage of single-family home garages is, you know, most of those cars are just immediately inside the door, so they could drag them out
Yeah,
if they need
yeah,
to,
true.
you know?
okay. Any other questions?
Well, the only concern I can think of is that if you're gonna drag a car out, that means it's close to the door, what about egress for people that might be in there? As long as they've got a side door or something like that that they can get out, that's fine.
Yeah, the overhead door isn't the legal emergency access route, so
Right.
there is another route out in every case, yeah.
So in the case of, let's say, the building that's gonna replace the bank, they got
Right,
their demolition permit last night,
right, yeah,
and they're underground parking
right,
with however many stalls, 6 or 8, 12, whoever.
yeah. What, like 20, I think,
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
something
whatever
like
it
that.
is,
Yeah.
this is gonna apply to that?
Yeah, it is, so the village could regulate, you know, which stalls are
Okay.
marked for EV parking and put them in a location where they're more accessible for removing the cars, you know?
So is there gonna be a sign? I mean, I can see signs that say only.
Yeah, right.
Are you just gonna have signs that say everybody but electric, like beyond a certain point?
I think so, yeah.
Well, here's what I have a friend that has 2 of them in a condo building in Highland Park.
Yeah,
And there's probably another 8. And
yeah,
it's underground parking, and they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
scattered around because they put them there themselves.
right, yep,
And they own the spot
right,
as well as they own the property up here.
right.
So how do we regulate that? Because generally, now they've put them in after the fact. This is a 30-year-old building. It's all concrete, it's all,
Right,
but still, these things don't catch on fire gradually. They kind of go boom.
yeah. Yeah, you know, and we'll see, depending on the layout of the garage,
Yeah.
you know, we'll talk to the fire department about how necessary they think it is, you know, if all the spaces are relatively similar in terms of how accessible they are for that, then there may not be as much need to regulate which ones are EV. But, you know, at the building you're talking about, there might be some potential for people parking in tandem. The garage might be long enough north-south off the aisle that people could possibly park in tandem, which would be obviously an especially difficult place to
Yeah.
try to remove a car from
get
if you
the
had
guy
that
in the front, yeah.
situation. So you might want to at least regulate them to be parked on the aisle at least, and maybe towards the door end of the building if possible. But
That's
it
probably a
does, you know,
conversation that needs to be had with Pete.
right, yeah, right.
Okay.
So when there's a fire in a garage, parking garage, they call the fire department, they see it's an EV, is there like a special fire truck, tow truck kind of thing? Like or do they wrench it?
I'm
What's
not
the
sure
process?
exactly how they do that.
Seems like
They
that's,
got winches the size of your Buick.
So they
you know,
just-
on the front and the back of those trucks. And
Yeah, right.
just curious, that
they
seems
have
that,
this- They're super suits, you know, that they,
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't put it out if a fire starts?
It's almost impossible. I saw video from one of the car transport ocean-going ships that had car fires on it.
oh boy.
And they went to port in Denmark. They were taking cars off with a forklift and a crane, and they had a giant dumpster full of water, and they were submerging the car under the water and holding it under for a certain amount of time to get it to go out, and then taking them out of the dumpster of water.
Yeah, because that electric fire, right? I mean, that's the difference. You can't.
You
Yeah,
know,
the
so
battery
many
keeps
of these
smoldering.
other electric toys do the same thing, just on a smaller scale. You know, the electric bikes catch fire now.
Right.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Scooters catch fire.
Yeah,
Right.
that's an issue. Like in those little apartments, parking the electric bikes inside.
Yeah.
I think Bob brings up a very good point about condominiums, because the parking spaces, if somebody owns a gas automobile and they've got the most inaccessible spot, then they sell that car and buy an electric one, well, they own that parking space.
Right,
All the other spaces are sold to somebody else.
right.
To go back to the person that's in the most accessible space and say, you want to trade spaces?
Well,
The answer from this guy is going to be, no, I'm not going to do that.
if one follows what we're supposed to be doing, in
Yeah.
a few years, they're all gonna be electric.
Yeah, that's true, if we do
We
that.
need bigger doors.
Yeah,
It would seem to me that the building that's gonna replace the bank, essentially, I would imagine that all of those spaces in the garage are gonna be essentially the same in terms of, in other words, if you imagine, you know, a center aisle with 90-degree parking off of it, you know, every one of those spaces is gonna be as difficult for the fire department to haul it out.
I didn't ask them specifically on that location. They may be trying to tow with a fire truck that can't get under the door, from the doorway, or they may not want to bring it under the door, so the far end there might be a length issue. I don't know how long their cable is on their winch and that type of thing,
But it would seem to me they have to move it in one direction and then change the direction. In other words, 90 degrees.
Right.
Or maybe just drag it through 2 or 3 cars.
Right.
If I remember right, there's an elevator core kind of in the middle.
Presumably, there's stairwell and
Yeah,
elevator
and
and
it's-
stuff like
yeah.
that in there as well.
Right, yeah.
So what's the plan here? A gas tow truck was gonna drive up to a burning car and pull
Well,
it out of the
I can't figure it.
No, I think.
can't figure it out yet.
The winch cable reaches,
Yeah.
the winch cable reaches far enough, hopefully. And,
So somebody's gonna walk up to this car and
Yeah,
put
that's
a
it.
winch
well,
cable?
a fireman in their
Yeah.
suit. Yeah.
Okay.
They like
I mean, if they can't, they can.
They
I
let-
mean,
I know, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the issue with smoke detectors. You want to get there early for that.
Yeah.
You don't want it when it's fully roaring.
Is there a special kind of sprinkler system yet for electric vehicles?
There is not. The
big lead.
the NFPA standards have changed for parking garages, so it's a ordinary hazard level 2, so it does get more water on the sprinkler system.
But, yeah,
than
but
they
that
used to.
doesn't remedy the electric.
No, it doesn't put
situation.
it out. It just maybe
But yeah,
slows it
I
spread
can
to other
envision
cars.
that's in the
Yeah.
great distant future that
Oh, yeah.
every one of those stations is
Yeah.
gonna be an electric station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll find some kind of, like the
Gotta have a
other
foam
types
thing
of
or something.
something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the risk is, hopefully everyone can get out of the building in time.
Yeah.
That's really not the main concern, but I
Right.
think the problem is that once that electric vehicle fire gets going, that you might have to replace the concrete slab
Right, of course,
between the
right.
basement and the first floor, and how do you do that once all the floors are built above it?
Yeah.
Replace that slab,
Yeah,
if that gets too hot
It's a
and
hot
it's
fire.
breaking,
Well, you've got electric cars aren't the only thing, plastics.
Yeah,
Most plastics, if they start burning, it's the same thing, they gotta consume themselves, you can't put them out.
yeah,
And I built a lot of buildings for hospital supplies.
uh-huh,
And there was always a fight between the local fire department and Factory Mutual. Factory Mutual didn't want any more exit doors than you absolutely had to have, because the people would run out and leave the door open and just fan the flames. And of course, the fire department wanted all kinds of exit doors everywhere you could imagine, so people could escape. But they took tests with plastic materials and put like pellets load in, that Factory Mutual did. And they would set it on fire. And when they put fire sprinklers on it, it funneled the heat straight up instead of spreading out at all. And it burned much hotter when the fire sprinklers were on than when they were off. And so what they do is they put so many sprinklers in there, in the racks and everywhere in the ceiling. And their objective is to put the fire out before it gets through the cardboard to get to the plastic. And you can't do that with an electric battery.
Yeah.
So they've got another, I mean, that's another big concern. You go to a lot of the warehouses and places that have a lot of stuff in there, there's more and more plastic in there.
A lot of it is poisonous when it burns.
Oh, yeah. You know, the idea when there's in a fire, if you're in there, you get down to the floor so that you're below the smoke. Well, that's where the poison goes from the plastic burning. So bad situation.
All right, I think there's not enough stuff that we know about that hasn't been developed yet to deal with this kind of thing, you know. I don't know if they have a foam fire protection system for the basement. Does foam work on putting this stuff out?
I don't think it does. No.
It's gotta be something besides throwing it in the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has anything better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why dragging the car out of the building is really the best thing to save the building.
It's like
Yeah,
pushing the wagon uphill, okay.
yeah, right.
All right, well, that really has nothing to do with this, other than it's something to keep track of.
Right, yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
So what are we being asked to do with, are we voting on this, or?
Yeah, I would, to make a recommendation to the village board, so I would like a vote to make a
What was
recommendation.
the,
to village
the
board.
comment about the permit fees?
There is,
So
Were you
this,
basing them on-
as far as, we're not changing the permit fees, but we didn't say anything in our code about how the cost of construction should be calculated. So this has specific methods that are considered acceptable for calculating the cost of construction, which would especially come into play if we didn't agree with someone's, cost estimate. You know,
So a GC says it's $150,000 to do it, and you guys are like, yeah, right, whatever, and then you have some sort of prescriptive method to
so, yeah, this has several methods, so you can use the data in, the means cost estimating, or the ICC's data, and what else did we say about
What's the
acceptable
standard
ways of?
going rate for, square footage cost, is that,
Yeah, right, that, we also said we can use that for similar
Yeah, that's
jobs.
painful.
well, I
most
mean,
renovations.
Yeah, but it
Medium.
seems reasonable for
Medium,
calculating the
high,
permit.
Yeah.
really
Just
high.
use us per square foot
Yeah.
cost or something, so that it's,
What's
because if one person, has a bathroom
Well,
faucet that's dipped in gold,
We
it
really
should,
don't even
it's.
talk in
Right, that doesn't,
you
right,
shouldn't- Yeah.
for remodeling, but
right.
for new
there
constructions,
should
I mean,
just
it
be
can,
kind of
it's
a-
really
yeah.
expensive. It's like
Was that what they're proposing here?
about 1,000 yet.
No, I mean, we'll
It's like
continue to ask
between
people
4 and
their
6.
actual cost as we do now, but if it seems too low,
worth living.
this gives alternative methods of
you spend
calculating
more.
it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That makes sense.
You know, the disadvantage, square footage is great for a lot of things,
It's
like when
just
you're doing
cra-
a
in
complete
my opinion,
remodel
that's
or new
crazy.
construction or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it becomes
Where things are at
difficult
right now.
is the type of remodel where someone's, doing a little bit of work in one room, doing a little bit of work in another room and all that, and then the square
Upgrading all the
footage is like,
infrastructure, yeah.
well, the square footage overestimates it for some of those people,
Yeah.
you know?
Are you still at 3%?
Yeah, we are, yeah, yep.
Okay,
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
Sure, no problem.
anything else? No? Okay, then we'll do another roll call. Or did we have a
Wait,
motion?
first we need somebody to make a motion.
Okay. Who's gonna make the motion?
Should I go 4 for 4?
Sure. Go, Matt.
I recommend that the board approves the proposed amendments as presented.
Second.
I'll second.
George got it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Okay. Roll call. Member Stratoff.
Aye.
Member Caraway.
Aye.
Member Deegan.
Aye.
Member Dahlman.
Aye.
Member Cottrell.
Aye.
And Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thanks.
So, can we turn this thing off, sir?
So would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I might as well move to adjourn this meeting.
Right. Okay, all in
All in
favor?
favor,
Shoot,
say
I cheated a lot of goals today.
aye. All right, we are.
Okay, yep, we are adjourned. Let me, I will